So, you're planning to apply for admission or a scholarship in a European university, and you've gone through the criteria and the eligibility criteria and what they want you to have before you can apply for that admission or for the scholarship. And inside these criteria, they have asked that you should have obtained a certain number of ECTS credits. Now, you may be wondering, what does the ECTS credit mean? You may see that they ask you to have obtained 120 or 160 or 180 ECTS. So what does it mean? Now, in today's video, I'll be teaching you how you can convert your bachelor degrees credits to the ECTS, which is what is required in European universities. Now, this ECTS is same as the credit in your own country, but it's different. This is what they use in Europe, and you can easily convert it to know what your ECTS means. That's the equivalent to your bachelor's degree credit. So before we go deep into this video, I would please plead with you, if you have not yet subscribed to the channel, subscribe to this YouTube channel and hit the notification bell in order to get notified when new updates are shared on this channel. I also share updates on scholarships and anything that has to do with academic progression and academic advancement. So if you have anyone that is interested in advancing their academic career and that has interest in finding simple ways to solve difficult things, I would oblige you to please share this the link of this channel with them so that they can join the community, and also you help me to grow that way. Thank you. So let's go into the business of today. Now, in order to calculate the ECTS that the university is asking you for as an admission requirement or a scholarship requirement. Now, the basic knowledge here is that for 1 year of bachelor studies is equivalent to 60 ECTS in Europe. Now, 3 years is equivalent to 180 ECTS, 4 years is 240, and then 5 years is 300 ECTS, more like 60 multiplied by the number of years that you have studied. Now, again, you can see that on the right side here, I have put the equivalent of 1 ECTS to the study hours. Now, in Germany, France, and Belgium, the 1 ECTS is actually equivalent to 30 study hours. Then for the Netherlands and Portugal, 1 ECTS is equivalent to 28 study hours. Then Austria, Italy, and Spain, 25 study hours for 1 ECTS. Now, this is important to note because some universities or some programs may ask you to provide the ECTS credit for specific courses that you took during your bachelor's, and so that is when we use these study hours to calculate them. Now, in order to change your bachelor's degree credit to the ECTS credit, now we've set an example here, just an imaginary name. Mr. Nelson Smith is planning to convert his bachelor's credit score to the ECTS. Now, how does he do it? Throughout, let's say in the table, the example here, throughout Mr. Nelson Smith's program, he took 30 courses of 2 units. So 2 units credits were like he took 30 courses that were 2 unit credit, and then he took 40 courses that were 3 units. Now, how does he go about to get the total unit credit that he obtained in his 4 years bachelor's program? Now, that 30 courses of the 2 units, you will multiply it by the 2 units in order to get 60 credits. So he had 60 credits for the 32 unit courses, and then for the 43 unit courses he had 120 credits. Now, if you add them, you see that for the entirety of his bachelor's degree program, he obtained 180 credit units. Now, in order to convert to the European credit transfer system credits, you need to know that. Now, in the previous slide, I showed that for 4 years bachelor's program, they expect that you must have had 240 it is 240. So you divide this 240 by the 180 credit that you obtained in your university, which will give you the multiplication factor that you use to convert it to the European credit transfer system. Now, if you convert this, if you multiply this credit unit that you obtained in your university by the multiplication factor, you're going to get 234 ECTS. So which means Mr. Nelson Smith got 234, or he took 234 European credit system credit in his bachelor's program in his home university. Now, for calculating the ECTS for each courses, how do you go about that? Just follow this next example that we have here. Now, Mr. Nelson Smith want to calculate for each individual courses. His program has asked him to calculate for, let's say, Geo 235. So what does he do? Now, we will need to understand that equivalent ECTS in a subject is equal to the total study hours in a week multiplied by the number of school weeks per semester. Now, in most universities, a semester is 4 months. 4 months. So now, which means in 4 months, we know that in a month we have 4 weeks. So multiply that 4 weeks by the number of months, which is like the 16 weeks. So a semester has 16 weeks. Now, for the unit courses that Mr. Nelson Smith took, for a 2-unit course, he is expected to have had lectures of 3 hours per week. And then for a 4-unit course, he is expected to have had lectures of 4 hours per week. Now, in each week, he is also expected to have self-study sessions where he goes to do tutorials, or he goes to read, yes, self-studies. And the expectation is that for the 2-unit course, he is also expected to have studied for 3 hours. And then for the 3-unit course, is also expected to have studied for 4 hours. So now, this is what we use to get the total study hours in a week before we can then use it to multiply by the weeks in a semester. Now, let's see the example that we have for Mr. Nelson Smith trying to calculate the ECTS for Geo 425. Now, for Mr. Nelson Smith, he took a course Geo 425 that is 2-unit course. Now, that 2-unit course, he had lectures of 3 hours in a week. Now, these 3 hours in a week multiplied 3 hours in a week multiplied by the total weeks in a semester, study weeks in a semester, that is 16. So the 3 hours multiplied by 16 will give you a total of 48 hours. So he had lectures of 48 hours in the whole semester. Then for the self-study, he spent 3 hours each week studying for 16 weeks, and then that 3 multiplied by 16 will give you a total of 48 hours. Now, the total study hours for that semester is 96 when you add this lecture hours plus self-study hours. So you get 96. So Mr. Nelson Smith had 96, or did 96 hours of study for Geo 425. Now, in order to get the ECTS for this Geo 425, we know that though I've showed you a table that for countries like for France, Germany, the ECTS is the hours of study for one ECTS is equivalent to 30 hours. Now, let's say he's applying to a university in Germany or in France. So you have to divide this total ECTS, his total hours of study, total hours of study by the required hours of study for one ECTS in the country that he's applying to. So that 96 study hours for the course Geo 425, divide it by the 30 hours, then it means that Mr. Nelson Smith had 3.2 ECTS credits for Geo 425. So this is a simple way to convert your bachelor's degree credit to the ECTS credit system when you are applying for a program in Europe or for a scholarship and that has the criteria of a minimum ECTS value that you need to have had, or credits that you need to have had rather. This is it, and I hope that you are able to learn something vital from this video. Now, if you have not yet subscribed, please, I would indulge you to hit the subscription button. And for the returning subscribers, thank you for sticking with me, thank you for learning with me. I hope that the videos I'm sharing are impactful to you, and I hope that if you have not yet received or won a scholarship yet, I hope and pray that you win a scholarship, or I hope that that program that you are applying for will get admitted. Thank you, and see you in my next video. Bye bye.